Hello friends, welcome to our channel with another new lesson. Today we're gonna learn two phrases: floating on air and walking on air. These two phrases are the same in meaning, so you can use these interchangeably. They mean to be very happy. They are also informal usages of the language. This is the word order. You can begin the sentence with a subject. Here the subject is the person who is very happy. Then you have to use a be verb suitable for the subject that you mention. And finally, you could use either floating on air or walking on air and complete the sentence.
Here are some simple examples. She is floating on air. Or you could also say she is walking on air. He is floating on air. Or you could also say he is walking on air. They are floating on air, or you could also say they are walking on air. The above examples are in present tense form. Let's see some past tense forms. She was floating on air. They were floating on air. So you could also use walking on air instead of floating on air in these examples. Okay, now let's see a future tense example. She will be floating on air. Now you know the other way to say this sentence, don't you? Now let's see some complex sentences as well. When he got his exam results, he was floating on air. This example is in the past tense. In the past, when he got his results, he was very happy. You should use the past forms for both clauses. When John sees you, he will be walking on air. This sentence is in future tense. In the future, when John sees you, he will be really happy. John was floating on air when he passed the exam. Tom was walking on air after talking to her. According to English grammar rule, if you use a verb with the conjunction after but without using a subject, you should use ing form of the verb.
Kevin will be floating on air after he knows about this. Ever since she met George, she has been floating on air. It is a common grammar rule that using a clause in present perfect form with a clause in past tense form beginning with ever since or since. Also, a comma is needed if you begin the sentence with the clause includes ever since or since. Emma has been floating on air ever since she got engaged. See, we don't have to use a comma because we don't begin the sentence with ever since or since.
We think today's lesson will be very useful in your daily English conversation. So use it in order to become fluent in English. Would you please subscribe to our channel? See you again with another lesson. Have a nice day to you all.